Vegas is now far easier than it has been before, and this is mainly because they've added a feature to be able to import text files. So I can create text files in, say, Microsoft Word. I need to save it as a .txt file, not a .x file or a doc file or whatever, but a .txt file. When I save it as a .txt file, a text file, I can then import that into the credit roll generator, and then I can use that straight inside Sony Vegas. And if I need to make a change, I can make changes inside the credit roll itself and then export that as a document ready to be saved or edited as I need later on. And not only that, you can also export styles. So if you create a title style to go at the end of a particular program that you're working on, and you're going to be doing numbers of these programs, you can save the style as a .xml file and then import that in next time you need to do your next title credit roll. Okay, so it's really quite powerful what can be done. So I have actually created a file. I'm using Microsoft Word, and here is my file. Now, the // is saying this line is not going to be recognized or paid any attention to by the credit roll. Okay, so any line that begins with // is ignored and is there as a comment purely for you only. Okay, for whoever sees the file. So I've put this as a sample credit roll for demonstration. And I've called the program Burning because it's going to go over this background that I've got here. And notice that I've changed the font size of this bit here. That's the subtitle, a hot place. Okay, so that's the main title is Burning, the subtitle is a hot place. And then what you can't see very clearly is that I've actually separated everything by a tab. So I did starring tab as, Bill tab something, John tab himself, Kelly tab someone else, Linda tab Frank, Tom tab Frederick. Okay, so I've saved all of this as a credit roll, but I did it like this. I went File, Save As, and then I made sure, it's on my desktop, made sure that I saved it as .txt. Okay, you've got all the different options here, but it must be .txt to be able to use inside of this credit roll generator. So I'm going to click Save. Well, it's already been saved. Western European, that's fine. Okay, great, done. So I can just move that to one side at the moment. Now I can bring in any one of these titles that I like. So I'm going to bring in this one that's got plain scrolling on back. In fact, what we might want to do is say actually put it on transparent so we can still see the fire. So I'm going to put the transparent one there. There it is. And you can see as you pull it through, pull the cursor through, we've got the various bits and pieces working in there. Okay. So it's a scrolling credit, but it's got default titles in there. So what we need to do is look at these items up here. These two green ones are for importing, the red ones are for exporting. If you see the A is telling you it's for importing text and exporting text. This one here is for the styles. You can import a style, you can export a style. So I'm going to import my text and I'm going to navigate to my credit roll, double click to import that, and instantly, as you can see, it's updated everything straight away here. It's coming through and I can see starring as, and it's all sorted out. We can even see that the justification on this side is different to the justification on this side. So it's all worked out perfectly. I can change how wide it is here. So I can pull it in closer or further apart. I can play with either side to create a different look. I can also go in and change different bits and pieces with the styles. Now, it's not completely free from problems. So for instance, if I change Burning and I double click that, I've got it at a single item. Let's hope it's a single item. We can see it's a single item. It could be a header. I could maybe change it as a header. Well, let's do a single item anyway. Double click to change it. Let's change its font color to, say, green, dark green. Okay, click here to accept it. Notice it's done both items. And the same will be true for these ones here. So if I do starring, it says dual items here. Even if I change it to single item and I try and change it to a different color, say blue, light blue, and you'll see that what that's done is it's changed whatever has got this particular item to it. So if I was to click here, I can change that to a header. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Burning and I'm going to change Burning to a header. Okay, you can now see Burning is a header. Hot Place is the subtitle. I could also perhaps make those subtitles as well, but then I lose the as. Okay, and then what I might want to do is go here and click in here and go as, and then I could go through all the rest of them and I could change the various styles that I want. And if I want to change the dual items, I can just go in and say, actually, you know what, I want all those dual items to be sort of a, yeah, so more of a, let's go for a cyan colour. There we go. And they'll all change. So you don't actually need to select them. It doesn't make any difference about selecting them. As long as you've got the appropriate drop down here, you can change things accordingly. You can change the font. This is going to change all the dual items together. So if I go Times New Romans, they're all Times New Romans. Whatever is selected here will be affected. So at the moment that's Arial, but if I take it down to, let's have a look, what have I got? I've got Myriad Pro, so let's do a Myriad Pro. So it gives me a slightly different look on Myriad Pro, and of course I can change its font size and make it 72. So you can play around with all of these bits and pieces and create the look that you want. And then if you want to export it, say actually I want to re-edit this, however it might be, so I can go to export it, call it Credit Roll 2 perhaps, and then click Save. This is going back to my desktop. However, just want you to show when I import it, it's going to be slightly different. So if I go File, Open, and I go and find that one, Credit Roll 2, and I double click to open, it says, how do you want to open it? What do you want to do? I'm going to see Windows Default. It's going to look like that, each roll, and it's going to look slightly different. If you go to Other Encoding, Unicode, leave it as Unicode as it comes in. Other Encoding, Unicode, and you'll be able to read it. So I'm going to click OK, but it actually has added a lot more information. So it's given me all this information. Notice it's all got these double slashes telling me that these lines will be ignored. Okay, so it's showing me what we can do, and then it tells me, for instance, if you need to include leading spaces in an entry, use quotation marks. 2 column entries, items begin with a leading space and columns are separated by a tab. So it tells you bits and pieces that are useful to know. You can change the bits and pieces and you can re-import it, which I'm not going to do, but you can do that. So if I want to save this style, say I want to change the background colour actually. So the background colour, I want it to be semi-transparent. Not fully transparent, but semi-transparent, with sort of darkening it down a bit like that. Okay, I like that. So I can export that style. So if I export that, again, I can go to my desktop at the moment. It says Credit Roll XML, save. Okay, that's now saved. It's on my desktop. So next time I want to create something that's in the same line, so the series might be burning and the next one might be lava. Okay, I can import the text or modify the text and bring it in, and then I can bring in the style and the style will look the same. So you can have continuity one program to the next. So that's working with rolling credits inside of Sony Vegas, another one of the media generators. Very powerful, very easy to use, and there are lots of different options. I hope you found this tutorial useful. My name